Hi guys, welcome to Scimath Academy. In today's lesson, we are going to focus on one of the most important topics in mathematics, which is symmetry. So, a shape is said to be symmetric if it can be divided into two identical pieces. In symmetrical shape, one half is the mirror image of another one. For example, I draw a line over this shape. This can be divided into two equal halves. So, in this shape, the first piece is the mirror image of the second one. In the same way, if I draw a line over this shape, this can be divided into two equal halves. Half one is the mirror image of the second one. This half shape is the mirror image of the second one. In the same way, if I draw a line over this shape, this can be divided into two identical halves. It's called the symmetry in math. So if a shape can be divided into two equal halves in such a way that one piece is the mirror image of another one, this shape will be called symmetrical shapes in math. We are going to focus on the line of symmetry. So a line that divides a symmetrical object into two or more equal halves, then we can say that this is the line of symmetry. For example, we divide this shape into two equal halves. We draw a line on this shape can be divided into two identical equal halves. So we can say that this line is the line of symmetry. Right, so the vertical line of symmetry is a line that divides the shape into two equal halves vertically. This is a shape and it can be divided into two equal halves. But this shape is divided into two equal halves. One half is the mirror image of another one. Horizontal line of symmetry. Horizontal line of symmetry is a line that divides a shape into two equal halves horizontally. For example, if I take this shape, which is an arrow shape, and I can divide this shape into two equal halves by drawing a horizontal line. So this line is called a horizontal line of symmetry because this line divides the shape horizontally into two equal halves. Right? So this is the horizontal line of symmetry. And this is the vertical line of symmetry. The third one is the diagonal line of symmetry. So a diagonal line of symmetry divides a shape into identical halves when split across the diagonal corners. For example, if I draw a line from one corner to another one, and it will divide the shape into two equal halves. This is called the diagonal line of symmetry. So this divides the object across the diagonal. Zero line of symmetry. There are some shapes that have zero line of symmetry. For example, these are the alphabet that do not have line of symmetry. One line of symmetry. Those shapes which have one line of symmetry or triangle, isosceles triangle. For example, this is a triangle. It has one line of symmetry, right? So we can say that this is one line of symmetry. Lines of symmetry. There are some objects that have two lines of symmetry. For example, this is a rectangle and it has two lines of symmetry. It can be divided vertically and it can be divided horizontally. So there are two lines of symmetry. Infinite lines of symmetry. Circle have infinite line of symmetry. For example, this is a circle and it can be divided vertically, it can be divided horizontally. A circle has infinite lines of symmetry. Types of symmetry. When you flip, slide or turn an object, four types of symmetry can be observed in various situations. The first one is the translation symmetry. For example, this is an object, right? When this object is moved from one position to another one, the same orientation and forward and backward motion is called translational symmetry. It is also called sliding an object about an axis. For example, this shape is slide from this position to this position, that it regains the same orientation as before. If this object is moved from this position to this position, then it again have the same orientation. So we can say that this type of symmetry is called translation symmetry because the shape regain the same orientation as before. One is rotational symmetry. When an object is rotated in a particular direction around a point, such symmetry is known as rotational symmetry. For example, this is an object, and if I rotate this object in particular direction around a point, symmetry will be called as a rotational symmetry, because if I rotate this object by 90 degree, then again it will have a same orientation. If I rotate this object again 90 degree, then it will regain the same orientation. And again if I rotate this object by 90 degree, then it have the same orientation. And again if I rotate this object by 90 degree, then again this shape have the same orientation. So such type of symmetry that obtained by rotating an object, and such type of symmetry is called rotational symmetry. Reflexive symmetry is a symmetry in which half of the object reflects the other half of the object. It is also called mirror symmetry. For example, this is a shape, right? This is the line of symmetry. This half reflects the other half of the object. It is a type of symmetry in which half of the object reflects the other half of the object. It is also called mirror symmetry. Now, glide symmetry. The combination of both translation and reflection symmetry is called glide symmetry. For example, this is a shape. This is a shape. Glide symmetry is a symmetry which is the combination of both translation and reflection symmetry. For example, this object is moved from this point to this one with reflection. So this type of symmetry is called the glide symmetry. Now the fifth one is the point symmetry. A point symmetry occurs when figure looks the same after being rotated 180 degree around the central point. For example, S, H, I, and X are the figures. If we rotate these figures by 180 degrees around the central point, they look the same as before. Such type of symmetry is called point symmetry. In the same way, square also have point symmetry. Rectangle also have point symmetry. Parallelogram also have point symmetry. Right, so we can say that these figures have point symmetry. So dear viewer, if you have liked the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos related to math.